Gold Rush that I just completed uh, earlier today, because it pretty well demonstrates the strategy I like to go for on Gold Rush. I love to do a wolf lure and try to put my opponent behind and give myself an advantage for later in the game. So, start of the game, I'm looking for my starting resources. I want to find 8 sheep, 2 boars, and in fact, I've already found my 8 sheep, which is amazing. And then I've already found 2 boars, berries, gold, stone. This is a great starting scouting for me. Usually it takes a lot longer. Sometimes I don't find the sheep until Castle Age, which is terrible. But yeah, so we'll speed through the start of this. It's just a normal start. In fact, going for my first boar now. Um, he's actually doing the same thing. We're pretty even when it comes to Dark Age build. Which, by the way, my opponent's name is Chameleonan, I guess. But he seems to be pretty good, at least in terms of knowing what to do at the start of the game. Oops. Oh, there we go. Okay. We have pretty much the same number of vills, same starting build order. My goal here is to get to Feudal Age, where I can build a spearman, send it across the map. The reason I pick Vietnamese here is because at the beginning of the game, I already see his town center, which allows me to come in and scout really easily without having to worry about, where is his town, and then when I finally do find it, what happens if I run into the TC? Well, I actually managed to grab 3 sheep, and I'm like, well, if you're not gonna come grab them, I guess I'll just take them. Sure. He does end up getting one of them back, but yeah, I'll send those 2 back to my base. No food for you, more food for me. I'll take it. I guess all his villagers must have been on the other side of the town center, and the sheep over here, so it's a pretty easy pick-off. But I actually expected a lumber camp here. It's a really great spot for a lumber camp, so maybe he'll put one there later, but now I finally see berries and gold. Okay, so 2 resources he'll probably be trying to get to relatively soon. So I'll scout a little bit more in the center. In fact, I'll probably try to go find some wolves. And then I will keep playing. Okay, a little idle time there, but keep playing eventually till I can get a barracks up, go to Feudal Age, and get that spearman out. Alright, so I'm finally clicking up to Feudal Age right now. Yeah, there we go. And my opponent's already in Feudal Age. Look at that. He could have run into the town center, but he noticed right away. That was great. He must be a pretty decent player. I'm just now getting my barracks up. He saw that, in fact, but and maybe since I just got my barracks up, maybe that's why he's building an archery range. Okay. Yeah, maybe this guy really is good. Anyways, so on my way to Feudal Age, my opponent's already there. I feel like I might be a little behind. In fact, the score says I'm behind. But I'll do what I can. I think that if I can get a good wolf lore, it will be good and put me in a better position. So first thing I do when I get to Feudal Age, build that spearman. In fact, I build 2 because since my opponent is Franks, I'm expecting cavalry. So my scout has found a bunch of wolves. So 4 here, 2 groups of 4 right next to each other. So I think, okay, sure, I'll go send this spearman and grab both of those. But look what happens here. So he decides to go ahead and attack this villager. I see it, I get distracted. My spearman stops moving forward, just gets eaten alive by the wolves. So my wolf lore gets killed, and he continues to harass my villagers. This villager, she is just trying to peacefully collect some berries, and here he comes with his horse. you know, riding on that horse and just poking away at her, and she's. Yeah, I finally get a spearman in there to try to deal with this, but he sees how weak she is. He's going to go ahead and take her down. Good job on his part. But since I lost my first spearman, I'm going to go ahead and send another one. I left all those wolves right here, so it should be easy pickup. That scout went this way, so I'll leave this spearman here in case he comes back. He just had one scout, so I'm not too worried about that. But at this point, the goal is to try to get these wolves in before he gets walled up. So, alright, here come all the wolves. All 8 wolves. There's 8 wolves here. And I'm going to take them right over into his base. He doesn't have wood over here, so I see he's on gold. He's got a a mining camp. So that's where I'll aim with this. Now, let's see what he sees. Okay, so he doesn't see this coming. In fact, yeah, he's sending his archers out. Now he sees the wolves in, and he's like, "What? Where did those come from?" He had 3 villagers sitting here on gold, and 1 trying to finish this wall. So I was kind of lucky to get in here before he finished that wall. But all 3 of his gold villagers down, the wall villagers down. He's getting some damage on this villager. And these archers, which he intended to send after my eco, which honestly would have been really bad for me, he has to send those back to take care of these wolves, because he can't collect gold as long as those wolves are there. So I think that's really great damage. 4 villagers down. All these archers, which were going to come in to my base and probably get a kill or 2 or more, because I am still open, at least on this side, where his scout is peacefully camping. Yeah, he could have gotten some real good kills in there. Alright, so that set him back. I'm at 20. He's at 27 villagers. I am at 33. So that definitely put him behind in terms of what he's able to do. He's not quite to castle age, but you can see I just clicked up to castle age. In fact, I'm 18% of the way there, so I'm going to get there first and hopefully be able to take advantage of that. So what I like to do in Castle Age is start building knights. So I'm already getting upgrades at the blacksmith. I want to get scale barding armor for the cavalry, so they get +2 armor, and then forging, so they get here comes the scale barding armor. And then forging, so they get +1 attack, so they're extra damaging, and they can take more hits from town centers when I'm off raiding. But I can't build the knights until I get to Castle Age, so let's hurry on up to Castle Age. I am building a couple of spearmen because he is Frank's after all. I'm expecting him to go heavy on the cavalry. Alright, so in Castle Age, first thing I do, go ahead and queue up the knights, as many as I can. I'm trying to build a second stable here. Honestly, this is too late. I should have had that up in feudal so that I could make knights out of 2 stables, get them up twice as fast. Building a monastery to start collecting relics. He's sort of guarding the center here. I've got my scout still out exploring. I'm just haphazardly clicking through the darkness, sending my scout there just to see what's there, while I'm building these knights. So he's still going archers, which, again, I'm not expecting that, so that would be a decent play, except now that we're in Castle Age. Notice here, I sent my scout into the darkness, and he's just sitting here, and look what he sees here. Yeah, this is my opponent's base. He's probably walled off. In fact, yes, he is walled off. He thinks he's walled off. But guess what? This is open. There's a 1-tile gap, and guess who's going to come in and take advantage of that? That's right. These knights are coming in. He'll actually be able to see them as they pass this house, but I think it's too quick. He probably doesn't see that. Um, but my scout down here, he's going to go in just to make sure that is still open. Sees it is open, but I don't want to reveal myself yet, so I'll save it till I get all these knights in. He's down here building a town center and a couple of stables. Pretty good play, but guess what? I am on your wood line, sir. 3 villagers down. 4 knights in here. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Alright, so he's sending his army back. And I am looking for other places to hit in his eco. Notice, if we put my fog of war back on, I don't see everything yet. I'm actually sending this scout just to see what's up down here. You know, what does he have down here? Oh, I see he's got a lumber camp, but he's sending all his villagers that way, so I'll go this way. Oh, hi, there's archers. I don't mind if I'll take those on, because guess what? Knights with armor do really well against feudal age archers, so I'll go ahead and take care of that. Head over to the gold, grab a couple more vill kills. I still have all 4 of my knights, so I killed those 6 archers, the scout, and closing in on 10 villagers now. He is, let's see what he's looking at here. He's got 31 villagers to my 41, so this is pretty good, and he's still taking damage. He's got a couple of spearmen, which is the right answer, but knights can just keep running around. Definitely want to stay away from the TC fire as long as I can, keep getting some damage. But at this point, I think I've got great damage. Finally got one knight down, but these villagers just kind of get stuck here. Totally forgot about them, and my knights happen upon them, and you know, sorry, those 4 villagers weren't doing anything anyways. I guess I'll just go ahead and take them out. Alright, so he's sending a couple of knights. He actually made those all the way back over here. He's sending them back to his base to take care of my knights. And I don't care at this point. I've already got a dozen villagers killed. He's down to 26 villagers. I have 42. So a really strong lead at this point in terms of villagers. I see that he's got the TC on the gold. So I'm like, well, I don't really want you there. I have enough stone for a castle. I'm going to go ahead and build a castle on top of the hill. I actually scanned with the castle foundation just to make sure he wasn't here first. And since he wasn't, I was like, well, if you're not there, I'll go there. I'm going to send all my new units over here just to protect my villagers in case an army does show up to try to prevent me from getting this castle up. I notice he doesn't have any military over here, so rather than just leave them in the TC fire, I'll send them over here on the other side of the stables. And this castle, you know, uncontested, that's going to go up and going to be a problem for his town center. But then, oh, here comes some knights. Well, that's good. In fact, I only kill one of his knights. He kills 3 of mine. He had the hill advantage and some pikemen in the mix, so that helped him out there. He's escaping with these villagers. This TC's going to go down eventually. And he's going to have to deal with this castle at some point, too. Finally taking advantage of this gold. So what's he doing at this point? He's still on one town center. I do have another town center up. That's good. Getting some upgrades and producing more villagers. I'm up to 51 now. Really probably could be better. I actually sent those knights over here just to see what was going on. I found these other knights, so I'm going to try to bait them into my castle fire so that he'll take some damage there. But he's doing a really good job of pulling them away. He knows I'm trying to pull him over there. See, those knights automatically try to chase, but he's intentionally pulling them away. That's a good job on his part. Alright, so I'm out there looking for them, but I don't see them, so I guess I'll just head over to his base. guess what? We're both doing the same thing. We're both heading over to each other's base. Except that he's got 6 knights and I've only got 2. This town center is about to go down. My knights aren't going to do anything over here. He's walled up. This hole isn't here anymore. So they're not going to do anything. They're just going to sit here and bang away at this house. These knights, on the other hand, you know, he thinks this is still open, but I do have a house there, and a gate. So he's actually going to attack the house. He probably should have attacked the gate, but 6 knights and a wolf. I see that. I'm like, all right, let me send some villagers over there. I'm not quite prepared for this, so I need to build some more pikemen and send them out here. If we go back to my view here, yeah. So I'm sending all the new pikemen that I create over here, expecting him to eventually get in, but hoping they'll run through the pikemen first, and I won't take as much damage. But you know, it's going to take him a little bit of time to get through here since I've got these repair villagers. But he eventually gives up on that. He's like, shoot, I can't get through. That's fine. I'll bring these pikemen back out. I'm actually expecting him to go try at another spot. I'm still open on this side, so he could go in that way, but he's not, thankfully. Alright, so I sent these archers down here because he had some villagers still trying to collect some gold with this mining camp. So those archers went down there, and one of them went too far. Just make sure he doesn't collect those resources. Now, at this point, I'm already thinking about Imperial Age. In fact, I've already clicked up to Imperial Age, 27% of the way there. I definitely want to get there before he does. Unfortunately, these archers just sort of wandered over here, started attacking an army they can't beat, and yeah, I lost 2 of them. More waste on my part, but ultimately it happens. He's building a nice-sized army of knights, which, again, I was expecting that from the start, but I really could have reacted better or planned better. Rather than still being on just one barracks, trying to produce a few pikemen every now and then, I really need to be producing more pikemen. Look at all these knights he's got. He's already got 12 knights. I've got better range on my castle now, so I'm already shooting down this other stable. Alright, so 62 villagers for me, 45 for him. And he's up to 14 knights. Check out what he's going to do now. Look at this. He's going to try to build a castle right next to mine. He's going to try to claim this area for all the gold, prevent me from getting... prevent me from locking him out of the gold. So now that he's got 16 knights, he sends his villagers in here to try to get the castle up, and then sends the knights in as well, thinking, okay, well, he can't prevent my castle going up if I'm attacking his castle. And he's right. It's actually a really good play if you want to get this castle up. And I try to send my pikes forward. I rush up another barracks. I guess that's not really rushing if I'm only using one villager, but I actually dropped these archers out of the castle, trying to snipe these villagers so that it takes longer to get the castle up. But they just start attacking the knights go in after them, and, you know, the rest is history. I do have pikemen in here, which are good against knights, but ultimately he's still got 13 knights sitting here after sending 16 in. He does a great job pulling his knights away from my castle, so I don't have the castle fire on his knights anymore, and my pikes followed him, and he was able to take care of them. Really good play. And this castle is going to go up, these archers are going to go down, these pikes are, you know, in no man's land, they really shouldn't be over here. And I really should be producing more pikemen myself. So, look at the production he's got. He's producing so many knights. While I'm over here thinking, okay, well, I'm only producing out of one of these barracks. Getting this castle up, thinking, well, I need more than one castle. I am in Imperial Age, so I could, you know, go ahead and build a treb. In fact, now I've got one queued up. so I will build a treb. I've got the hill advantage here, so this is really something I'm not that concerned about, because this castle, I get extra 25% on my hits on his. He gets 25% less on mine. And then when I get the treb out here, it'll also have a 25% bonus. So that's long term. This castle was probably a waste on his part. He had made a great play to get it up, but it's just a waste of resources, especially since I just got into Imperial Age. And we'll take this out. Look at all the knights he's got, though. I'm finally producing pikemen out of all my barracks, just not nearly as fast as I should. I'm getting the armor upgrade for the infantry, so that maybe they'll do a little better against the knights this time. And now I'm trebbing down the castle. He reacts by saying, well, maybe I should go in for that trebuchet. But I think he sees these pikemen and says, well, I don't think I can really go after that because he's got pikes there. So he's going to change his mind, and instead of going after the trebuchet, he's just going to have to give up that castle, and he's going to go for a raid. Pretty good play on his part. Look at this, 18 knights going in, running into my castle. He didn't see that, but I left my villagers there too. The ones that built the castle, they're all going to go down. I'm too slow to notice. Now I finally notice. I get the castle down. It's a good distraction, you know. While I'm busy taking this castle out, which is not that important, he comes in here with. He had 18 knights. Now he's only got 14. I'm sending my pikes in, but guess what? He's going to make it right through that palisade gate, nice and easy, with 12, now 11 knights, 10 knights. So the pikes are whittling away at the knights, but and I'm trying to send the villagers away, out of harm's way, but ultimately my wood line is still exposed. My gold villagers, you know, they're goners. But I will clean this up fairly quickly with all these pikes. It only takes a hit or two from these pikes and these knights go down. Look at that. Yeah, wow, okay. But, I mean, I was pretty well decimated by that. Look at the villager count now. So he's got 59 villagers, and I have 54. So he's got the villager lead now. I did have a really strong lead against him earlier in the villager count, but now he's got the villager lead. So he could, at least in theory, boom his way out of this. That's tough to do when you have a town center on the cliff. But ultimately, he didn't really have a good place to put a TC because there's hills everywhere you'd want to put one. You know, it's not really a good place to put one. You have to get a little more creative, I guess. Anyway, so I come over here. I try to get a castle up, try to make a surround on the gold, but I got a little revenge coming at me from the wolves, so I killed 4 of his villagers earlier, so with the wolves and back in feudal age. Now I lost a villager to the wolves, 5 wolves over here. So I see the wolves, so I'm like, fine, I'll send multiple villagers. Multiple villagers can handle the wolves, right? I send these pikemen forward. I'm thinking, well, let's at least see what's out there. I forget about these villagers and lose another one, and actually I'm going to lose another one before I finally start fighting. I see this castle, and I'm like, oh, okay, no, I don't want you to take that. I don't want you to get that castle up. I do finally kill those wolves, and I'm attacking these villagers at the base of this castle. He does have some knights, but again, pikemen are great against knights. Not so great for raids, but, you know, I know he was going with a lot of knights, so the pikemen were the way to go. And this castle, man, look at it. I say look at it and then go away. He's trying hard to get it up, but, you know, at this point in the game, not going to happen. 93%. That's what it's going to stay at. Wow. Okay. So, I start to send more pikemen this way, since this seems to be the scene of the attack. He's got some archers back behind these walls. It's a good spot for them, getting some good damage in on my pikes. Even house walls here, it's a good idea. Got a couple of villagers still exposed on the outside of his walls, so my pikes are going to go for that. But then watch this. This little villager decides, oh, well, I'm just going to come in this way. I notice, so I send in all my pikes. I'm like, alright, let's get in here. He's got a lot of villagers on this gold. I'm going to harass that. I even decide, okay, I'm going to send my archers in as well. All my army, in fact. He's got another hole in the wall. I'm going to take advantage. And I'm slaughtering more villagers. These archers are not going to do much. Well, crossbows, actually. Because I've just got too much army in here. Unless he does some serious micro, then it's too late for him. He thought about doing a tower. Not a bad idea, but it's just too late. And he calls the GG into the game. So again, I think, well, there was, in Dark Age, I was able to snag 2 sheep. I don't think that was that important, but it certainly set him back a little bit, maybe annoyed him. The big play, I think, was an early feudal where I sent the wolves in, got 4 villager kills, and the army that he was sending to attack me had to come all the way back and clean up the wolves. So that prevented me from taking damage, caused him to take a lot of damage, and set him back. You'll see in the statistics here, I was 2 minutes faster in the Castle Age than he was because of that. He was faster to feudal, but because of the being set back in feudal age by the wolves, I think that's the biggest reason why he was later to Castle Age. He was also 12 minutes later to Imperial Age. In fact, he only got to Imperial Age with less than a minute before the game ended, so he pretty much spent the whole game in Castle Age. And the reason for that was also because I was able to take advantage of this hole here that he didn't notice, get some knights in. Those knights got, 12 villager kills, first on the wood line, then around to the gold, and then on the wood, and harassing all the villagers that weren't able to make it into the TC. That was real good damage, set him really far behind, trying to go into, I'm headed to Imperial Age, and he was stuck in Castle. He did a great job trying to get this castle up. He did get it up, in fact, but it was really just a waste of that stone, because with me having the hill advantage, I'm gonna eventually get that castle down no matter what. And especially once I got to Imperial Age and started producing trebuchets. So he tried to make a good play over here and get in with a raid earlier in Castle Age, but then eventually, while I was busy taking out this castle, he sent the knights in around here, made it into my eco, did get a good raid on me, even got the villager lead, but by then I had the position on him. He had no more gold that he could take. Oh no, he did. He was taking it there at the end, and then my pikes denied this castle, a 93% castle, and then again one more hole in the wall. Didn't see it. That one villager made her escape and exposed it, and in came all my army, and the game was over. So I think that was a really good game. I think he played really well. In some ways, I got a little lucky with the holes in the walls, a couple of sheep, and managed to get those wolves in right before he finished his walls there in Feudal Age. So I think this is a good strategy. It just doesn't always work, especially if they get walled off really early. But in this case, it worked beautifully.